Imagine a world where every shadow could hide death, where every rustle in the ancient forests meant something monstrous was hunting. A world where predators the size of school buses prowled the land, where serpents longer than freight trains crushed their prey, and where the oceans teemed with killers that make today's great whites look like goldfish. This was Earth before humans ever drew breath. A planet ruled not by intelligence, but by raw, unstoppable power. For millions of years, creatures so deadly, so perfectly engineered for destruction, roamed freely across every continent and every ocean. These weren't just animals. They were living nightmares, apex predators that dominated their ecosystems with such brutal efficiency that nothing could challenge them. Until they vanished. Today, we're diving deep into the most dangerous chapter of Earth's history. We're counting down 100 of the most lethal, most terrifying, most absolutely devastating creatures that ever lived. From bone-crushing land predators to ocean monsters that redefined fear itself, these beasts were nature's ultimate killing machines. But here's what makes this journey truly fascinating. While these creatures are gone, their stories reveal secrets about survival, evolution, and the thin line between life and extinction that could change how you see the natural world forever. Some of these monsters ruled for millions of years before disappearing in mysterious circumstances. Others left behind clues that suggest they might not be as extinct as we think. By the end of this series, you'll understand why these creatures were so successful, what led to their downfall, and why their absence shaped the world we live in today. So buckle up, because we're about to explore a planet where being human wouldn't just be impossible. It would be a death sentence. Let's start our countdown with number 100, and trust me, even the creatures at the bottom of this list could tear apart anything alive today. Number 100 on our countdown is the Andrewsarchus. Picture a wolf, but then imagine that wolf decided to hit the gym for about 10 million years straight. This massive carnivorous mammal stalked the forests of Mongolia around 37 million years ago, and it redefined what it meant to be a land predator. Standing nearly 6 feet tall at the shoulder and stretching over 16 feet in length, Andrewsarchus possessed a skull alone that measured almost 3 feet long. Its jaws were packed with teeth designed for one purpose only, turning bone into powder. This wasn't some scavenging opportunist. This was a hunter that actively pursued prey larger than modern elephants. What made Andrewsarchus truly terrifying was its combination of size and speed. Despite weighing over a ton, this predator could reach speeds that would put modern wolves to shame. It hunted across the ancient Asian steppes, using pack tactics to bring down massive herbivores that had nowhere to hide on the open plains. The fossil evidence shows something chilling. Bite marks on prehistoric bones that could only have come from jaws powerful enough to snap trees in half. Andrewsarchus didn't just kill its prey, it obliterated it. Moving to number 99, we encounter the helicoprion, also known as the buzzsaw shark. If you think modern sharks are scary, wait until you hear about this oceanic nightmare that patrolled ancient seas for nearly 40 million years. The helicoprion looked like someone took a normal shark and decided to replace its lower jaw with a circular saw. Its most distinctive feature was a spiral whirl of teeth that jutted from its lower jaw like some demented power tool. Scientists initially couldn't figure out how this creature even fed itself, but recent discoveries have revealed the horrifying truth. This marine monster used its buzz-saw jaw to slice through schools of fish and soft-bodied prey with mechanical precision. The spiral of teeth would rotate, creating a continuous cutting motion that could shred through anything in the water. Imagine swimming in ancient oceans and seeing that distinctive spiral cutting through the waves toward you. But the helicoprion wasn't just about its bizarre feeding apparatus. Growing up to 30 feet in length, it was built like a living torpedo, capable of sudden bursts of speed that made escape nearly impossible. Its body was perfectly streamlined for pursuit, and once it locked onto prey, the outcome was inevitable. At number 98, we find the Joseph Artigasia, a rodent that would make you rethink everything you know about small mammals. This South American giant lived around 2 million years ago and weighed as much as a small car. Standing over 5 feet tall and measuring nearly 10 feet in length, Joseph Artigasia possessed front teeth that could grow over a foot long. But these weren't just oversized beaver teeth. They were weapons capable of delivering a bite force of nearly 3,000 pounds per square inch. That's enough pressure to crack open tree trunks or crush the bones of any predator foolish enough to attack. What made this giant rodent particularly dangerous was its territorial nature. Unlike modern rodents that flee from threats, Joseph Artigasia would stand its ground and fight. Its massive incisors could slice through flesh and bone with ease, and its powerful legs could deliver kicks that would shatter ribs. Fossil evidence suggests these creatures lived in groups, meaning encountering one meant facing an entire family of car-sized aggressive rodents with teeth like daggers. Number 97 brings us to the Leviathan melvillei, a sperm whale that decided regular hunting wasn't exciting enough. This apex predator ruled the ancient oceans around 12 million years ago, and it possessed the largest functional teeth of any animal that ever lived. Each tooth measured over a foot in length, and unlike modern sperm whales that primarily hunt squid, Leviathan melvillei was built to hunt other whales. This was a creature that looked at 60-foot-long baleen whales and saw dinner. Measuring nearly 60 feet in length itself and weighing over 50 tons, Leviathan melvillei combined the intelligence of modern sperm whales with the predatory instincts of a killer whale scaled up to monstrous proportions. It could ram prey with bone-crushing force, then use those massive teeth to tear chunks of flesh the size of small cars from its victims. The discovery of Leviathan melvillei fossils alongside megalodon teeth suggests these two oceanic titans may have competed for the same prey, leading to underwater battles that would dwarf anything in modern seas. At number 96, we encounter the Prehistoric, the largest land mammal that ever walked the earth. This hornless rhinoceros relative lived around 30 million years ago and redefined what it meant to be massive. Standing 18 feet tall at the shoulder and measuring nearly 30 feet in length, Prehistoric weighed as much as 4 modern elephants combined, but size wasn't its only weapon. This herbivore possessed a neck so long it could browse treetops nearly 30 feet off the ground, and legs so powerful they could kick with the force of a wrecking ball. While technically a plant eater, Paraceratherium's sheer size made it incredibly dangerous. A single step from this giant could crush anything beneath it, and its massive bulk meant it feared nothing. Even the largest predators of its time would think twice before attacking something that could accidentally kill them just by falling over. The fossil record shows that Paraceratherium lived in herds, meaning ancient landscapes were dominated by groups of these walking skyscrapers, reshaping entire ecosystems just by existing. Number 95 introduces us to the Dunkleosteus, an armored fish that turned ancient seas into war zones. Living around 350 million years ago, this apex predator possessed no teeth, but that only made it more terrifying. Instead of teeth, Dunkleosteus had bony plates that formed razor-sharp cutting edges. These biological guillotines could slice through anything in the water, including other armored fish and early sharks. Its bite force has been estimated at over 11,000 pounds per square inch, making it one of the most powerful biters in Earth's history. Measuring up to 30 feet in length and weighing several tons, Dunkleosteus was covered in thick armor plating that made it virtually invulnerable to attack. It was like a living tank that could open and close its jaws with such speed that it created suction powerful enough to pull prey directly into its mouth. The terrifying efficiency of Dunkleosteus is evidenced by fossil remains of its victims, which show clean cuts through bone and armor that only these bony shears could have made. At number 94, we find the Gigantopithecus, the largest primate that ever lived. This massive, over 1 million years, standing nearly 10 feet tall, Anape roamed the forests of Asia forward, weighing over 1,000 pounds. While primarily a plant eater, Gigantopithecus possessed canine teeth the size of human thumbs and arms, strong enough to tear trees from the ground. Its massive skull housed jaw muscles so powerful they could crack open the toughest nuts and seeds. But those same jaws could easily crush bones. What made Gigantopithecus particularly formidable was its intelligence combined with its incredible strength. This wasn't just a big animal. It was a thinking big animal, capable of using tools and problem-solving while possessing the physical power to reshape its environment. The discovery of Gigantopithecus fossils has led some researchers to speculate about connections to modern cryptid sightings, though no concrete evidence supports such claims. Number 93 brings us to the Carnotaurus, a predatory dinosaur that looked like it was designed by someone who thought Tyrannosaurus rex wasn't scary enough. Living around 70 million years ago in South America, this theropod was built for speed and violence. Carnotaurus possessed 2 devil-like horns above its eyes and a skull designed for ramming prey at high speeds. Its legs were incredibly long and powerful, allowing it to reach speeds of nearly 30 miles per hour while pursuing victims across open plains. But speed wasn't its only advantage. Carnotaurus had tiny vestigial arms that were even smaller than those of T-Rex, but this apparent weakness was actually a strength. Without heavy arm muscles to slow it down, every ounce of its body was devoted to running and killing. Its teeth, were designed not for crushing bone like other large theropods, but for slicing through flesh and causing massive blood loss. Carnotaurus was a pursuit predator that would run down its prey, the job. The fossil evidence shows that Carnotaurus lived and rammed them with its horned skull, then used its blade-like teeth to finish environments with few hiding places, making escape from this horned nightmare nearly impossible for the herbivores of its time. This concludes part 1 of our journey through the 100 most dangerous extinct animals. We've only scratched the surface of the prehistoric world's most lethal inhabitants, and already we've seen creatures that would dominate any modern ecosystem. From buzzsaw sharks to devil-horned dinosaurs, these ancient predators remind us that Earth's history is written in blood and bone. But the monsters we've covered so far are just the beginning. In our next installment, we'll dive even deeper into prehistory's Hall of Horrors, where the creatures become larger, deadlier, and more terrifying than anything you can imagine. The creatures we're about to explore next operated on a completely different level of lethality. These weren't just predators that happened to be dangerous. They were evolutionary masterpieces, fine-tuned killing machines that pushed the boundaries of what life on Earth could become. At number 92, we encounter the Quetzalcoatlus, a flying reptile so massive it defied everything we thought we knew about flight. With a wingspan reaching nearly 40 feet, this aerial giant soared over late Cretaceous landscapes like a feathered nightmare. Standing as tall as a giraffe when grounded, Quetzalcoatlus possessed a razor-sharp beak longer than most humans are tall. This wasn't some fish-eating pterosaur content with snatching prey from water surfaces. This was an apex predator that could spot movement from miles away, then dive down with the force of a falling tree to snatch up dinosaurs the size of wolves. What made Quetzalcoatlus truly terrifying was its hunting strategy. Unlike modern birds of prey that rely on talons, this giant used its massive beak like a spear, impaling victims before swallowing them whole. Fossil evidence suggests it could launch itself into the air from a standing position, meaning nowhere was truly safe from its reach. The sheer physics of this creature still baffles scientists. Something this massive shouldn't have been able to fly, yet it dominated ancient skies for millions of years, casting shadows that meant death for anything below. Number 91 brings us face to face with the Spinosaurus, a semi-aquatic predator that made rivers and swamps into killing fields. Recent discoveries have revealed this dinosaur to be even more terrifying than previously imagined, perfectly adapted for hunting both on land and in water. Measuring over 50 feet in length and weighing nearly 20 tons, Spinosaurus possessed a skull designed like a crocodile's, packed with conical teeth, perfect for gripping slippery prey. But its most distinctive feature was the massive sail on its back, which may have been used for display, temperature regulation, or even as a dorsal fin while swimming. This apex predator could dive underwater to hunt massive fish, then emerge onto riverbanks to ambush drinking dinosaurs. Its powerful paddle-like tail propelled it through ancient waterways with the speed and grace of a monstrous crocodile, while its massive claws could tear through armor plating like paper. Fossil evidence shows bite marks from Spinosaurus on fish bones the size of telephone poles, proving this predator regularly hunted prey that would dwarf modern sharks. At number 90, we discover the smilodon, better known as the saber-toothed tiger. These weren't just cats with oversized teeth. They were precision-killing machines that dominated Ice Age landscapes across North and South America. Those iconic saber teeth could grow nearly 8 inches long, but they weren't used like modern cat fangs. Instead, Smilodon would wrestle prey to the ground using incredibly powerful forelimbs, then deliver a surgical strike to the throat or belly, severing major blood vessels with those curved daggers. What made Smilodon particularly deadly was its build. Unlike modern big cats that rely on speed, these predators were built like furry tanks, with shoulders so muscular they could overpower prey twice their size. Their bite wasn't about crushing force. It was about precision, using those sabers to deliver fatal cuts that would drain the life from victims in minutes. The fossil record reveals something chilling about their hunting behavior. Smilodon bones show evidence of cooperation, suggesting these apex predators hunted in coordinated groups, making escape virtually impossible for their prey. Number 89 introduces the Sarcosuchus, also known as supercroc. This ancient crocodilian made modern crocodiles look like harmless lizards by comparison, ruling African and South American rivers over 100 million years ago. Reaching lengths of nearly 40 feet and weighing as much as a city bus, Sarcosuchus possessed a skull alone that measured over 6 feet long. Its jaws were packed with over 100 cone-shaped teeth, each one designed to puncture and hold rather than cut. Once this monster clamped down, nothing escaped. But size wasn't Sarcosuchus's only advantage. Like modern crocodiles, it was an ambush predator, capable of lying motionless for hours before exploding into action. The difference was scale. When Sarcosuchus launched its attack, it could take down prey the size of school buses. Fossil evidence suggests these giants lived alongside dinosaurs, and bite marks on dinosaur bones indicate they weren't afraid to tackle the largest herbivores of their time. Even massive sauropods had to fear the waters where supercroc lurked. At number 88, we encounter the megalania, a monitor lizard that turned Australia into a prehistoric house of horrors. This massive reptile combined the hunting instincts of a Komodo dragon with the size of a small truck. Measuring over 20 feet in length and weighing nearly 2 tons, megalania possessed a bite loaded with venom glands similar to modern monitor lizards, but scaled up to nightmarish proportions. A single bite would inject enough toxins to bring down prey the size of rhinoceros. Then this patient predator would follow the scent trail until its victim collapsed. What made megalania particularly terrifying was its intelligence. Like modern monitor lizards, it was problem-solving predator, capable of complex hunting strategies and ambush tactics. Its powerful claws could scale trees or tear through hide with equal ease, making both ground and canopy dangerous territories. The extinction of megalania coincided suspiciously with the arrival of humans in Australia, leading some researchers to speculate about encounters between early Aboriginal peoples and these dragon-like giants. Number 87 brings us to the Prehistoric, a caiman that redefined what it meant to rule tropical waters. Living around 8 million years ago in South America, this apex predator grew to lengths that challenged even the largest dinosaurs. At nearly 40 feet long and weighing over 8 tons, Purosaurus possessed a bite force estimated at over 20,000 pounds per square inch. That's enough pressure to crush a small car, and this ancient caiman used that power to hunt everything from giant ground sloths to early whales that ventured into freshwater systems. The skull of Purosaurus alone measured nearly 5 feet in length, with jaws that could open wide enough to swallow a horse whole. Its teeth were designed for gripping and crushing, capable of pulverizing bones that would break the jaws of lesser predators. Fossil evidence suggests Purosaurus was an opportunistic hunter that would attack anything that entered its domain, from massive mammals to other crocodilians. Even other apex predators feared the waters where this monster lurked. At number 86, we find the Argentavis, a bird of prey so massive it could snatch up prey the size of small cars. With a wingspan reaching nearly 24 feet, this ancient condor dominated South American skies around 6 million years ago. Unlike modern vultures that primarily scavenge, Argentavis was an active hunter with talons the size of baseball bats. Its beak was designed for tearing flesh from living prey, and its incredible eyesight allowed it to spot movement from distances that would challenge modern raptors. What made Argentavis truly formidable was its flying ability combined with its size. This wasn't some clumsy giant struggling to stay airborne. It was a master of flight that could soar for hours without flapping, using thermal currents to patrol vast territories while searching for prey. The discovery of Argentavis fossils alongside the remains of large mammals suggests this aerial predator regularly hunted ground sloths and early horses, swooping down like a feathered nightmare to carry off victims in its massive talons. Number 85 introduces us to the Basilosaurus, an early whale that looked more like a sea serpent than a modern cetacean. This ancient marine mammal terrorized prehistoric oceans around 34 million years ago, combining intelligence with predatory instincts that made it nearly unstoppable. Stretching over 60 feet in length but remaining relatively slender, Basilosaurus moved through ancient seas like a living torpedo. Its elongated skull was packed with sharp, pointed teeth, designed for gripping and tearing rather than filtering like modern baleen whales. What made Basilosaurus particularly dangerous was its hunting strategy. Unlike modern whales that primarily feed on fish or krill, this apex predator hunted other whales, including smaller members of its own species. Fossil evidence shows bite marks on whale bones that could only have come from Basilosaurus' jaws. The intelligence of modern whales combined with the predatory drive of ancient marine reptiles made Basilosaurus a perfect oceanic killing machine, capable of complex hunting strategies and cooperative behaviors that terrorized ancient seas. At number 84, we encounter the Giganotosaurus, a theropod dinosaur that may have been even larger than Tyrannosaurus rex. This South American giant stalked Cretaceous landscapes around 100 million years ago, turning vast plains into hunting grounds for the ultimate terrestrial predator. Measuring over 40 feet in length and weighing nearly 8 tons, Giganotosaurus possessed a skull over 5 feet long packed with serrated teeth designed for slicing rather than crushing. This wasn't a bone-crunching predator like T-Rex. This was a precision killer that used razor-sharp teeth to cause massive blood loss in its victims. What made Giganotosaurus truly terrifying was evidence suggesting it hunted in packs. Fossil discoveries indicate multiple individuals working together to bring down sauropods that measured over 100 feet in length. Coordinated pack hunting by predators this size would have made even the largest herbivores vulnerable. The combination of size, speed, intelligence, and cooperative hunting made Giganotosaurus one of the most successful apex predators in Earth's history, dominating ecosystems for millions of years before mysterious environmental changes led to its extinction. Number 83 brings us to the Leadsichthys, a fish so massive it redefined what we thought possible for marine life. This ancient giant swam through Jurassic seas around 160 million years ago, reaching lengths that rivaled modern blue whales. At nearly 55 feet in length, Leadsichthys was a filter feeder like modern baleen whales, but its size alone made it incredibly dangerous. Anything that got in the way of this swimming giant would be crushed or swallowed, and its powerful tail could deliver devastating blows to potential threats. What made Leadsichthys particularly remarkable was its longevity as a species. These giants dominated ancient oceans for nearly 50 million years, proving that sometimes the most successful strategy is simply being too big for anything else to handle. The discovery of Leadsichthys fossils has revealed bite marks from marine reptiles, suggesting even these gentle giants face predation from creatures desperate enough to attack something the size of a freight train. At number 82, we find the Caprosuchus, dubbed the boar croc for its massive tusks and aggressive hunting style. This ancient crocodilian lived around 100 million years ago in Africa, combining traditional crocodilian ambush tactics with active pursuit of prey on land. Unlike modern crocodiles that primarily hunt in water, Caprosuchus possessed long legs that allowed it to chase prey across dry land with surprising speed. Its skull was armed with 3 sets of paired fangs, including massive tusks that could gore prey like a warthog's weapons. What made Caprosuchus truly dangerous was its versatility. This predator could hunt in water like a traditional crocodile, but it could also pursue fleeing prey onto land, making escape nearly impossible for the dinosaurs and early mammals of its time. Fossil evidence suggests Caprosuchus was an opportunistic predator that would attack anything it could overpower, from fish and turtles to small dinosaurs that ventured too close to ancient African waterways. The monsters we've explored in this segment represent evolution's most creative attempts at building the perfect predator. From flying giants that cast death from above to swimming titans that turned oceans into hunting grounds, these creatures pushed the boundaries of what life could become. But we're still only scratching the surface of prehistory's chamber of horrors. The deadliest creatures are yet to come, and when we encounter them, you'll understand why their extinction was perhaps the only thing that allowed intelligence like ours to evolve and thrive. Number 81 takes us into the realm of aerial nightmares with the Hatzegopteryx, a pterosaur that made flying synonymous with terror. This colossal winged reptile soared over late Cretaceous Europe around 68 million years ago, possessing a wingspan that stretched nearly 36 feet across ancient skies. What separated Hatzegopteryx from other flying reptiles wasn't just its incredible size, but its role as a terrestrial hunter. When grounded, this monster stood over 12 feet tall, using its massive beak like a medieval warhammer to crush prey. Unlike its fish-eating relatives, Hatzegopteryx hunted dinosaurs, striking from above with enough force to shatter spines. The most chilling aspect of this aerial predator was its hunting pattern. Fossil evidence suggests it would patrol vast territories using its superior vision to spot movement from impossible distances. Once prey was located, Hatzegopteryx would fold its wings and dive like a living missile, delivering devastating strikes that left victims with no chance of survival. Recent bone analysis reveals these giants possessed hollow bones that were incredibly strong, yet lightweight, allowing them to achieve flight despite their massive size. They were living contradictions, creatures that shouldn't have been possible, yet dominated their ecosystems for millions of years. At number 80, we encounter the Therizinosaurus, a dinosaur that looked like it was designed by someone with a twisted sense of humor. Standing nearly 17 feet tall and measuring over 30 feet in length, this massive theropod possessed claws that stretched over 3 feet long, yet it was primarily a plant eater. But don't let its herbivorous diet fool you into thinking Therizinosaurus was harmless. Those massive claws weren't just for stripping vegetation. They were defensive weapons capable of disemboweling any predator foolish enough to attack. A single swipe from those scythe-like talons could slice through muscle and bone like a hot knife through butter. What made Therizinosaurus truly dangerous was its unpredictable temperament. Modern herbivores like hippos and Cape buffalo are among Africa's most dangerous animals, despite their plant-based diets. And Therizinosaurus took this concept to prehistoric extremes. Its massive size and defensive weaponry meant even apex predators like Tyrannosaurus rex would think twice before attacking. The fossil record shows evidence of healed wounds on Therizinosaurus bones, suggesting these giants regularly engaged in brutal combat with both predators and rivals, using their claws to settle disputes in the most violent ways possible. Number 79 brings us face to face with the Leviathan melvillae, a sperm whale that redefined oceanic terror. Living around 12 million years ago, this apex predator possessed the largest functional teeth of any animal in Earth's history, each one measuring over 14 inches in length. Unlike modern sperm whales that primarily hunt squid in the deep ocean, Leviathan melvillae was built to hunt other whales. This 60-foot giant would ram prey with bone-crushing force, then use those massive teeth to tear away chunks of flesh the size of refrigerators. Its hunting strategy was simple but effective: overwhelming force followed by systematic dismemberment. What made Leviathan melvillae particularly terrifying was its intelligence combined with its predatory instincts. Modern sperm whales are among the most intelligent animals on Earth, capable of complex communication and problem-solving. Imagine that intelligence focused entirely on hunting and killing, backed by teeth that could bite through steel. The discovery of Leviathan melvillei fossils alongside megalodon teeth in the same geological formations suggests these two oceanic titans may have competed directly for prey, leading to underwater battles that would dwarf anything in modern seas. At number 78, we discover the dire wolf, a predator that made modern wolves look like house pets. These Ice Age hunters roamed North and South America until around 10,000 years ago, using pack tactics and superior strength to dominate ancient landscapes. Standing over 3 feet tall at the shoulder and weighing up to 175 pounds, dire wolves possessed jaw muscles so powerful they could crush bones that would break the teeth of modern predators. Their bite force exceeded that of any living canine, allowing them to access marrow and nutrients that other carnivores couldn't reach. What made dire wolves truly formidable was their pack-hunting behavior. Fossil evidence from sites like the La Brea tar pits shows these predators traveled in groups of 20 or more, using coordinated attacks to bring down prey as large as bison and young mammoths. Once a pack locked onto a target, escape was virtually impossible. The social structure of dire wolf packs was more complex than that of modern wolves, with evidence suggesting they cared for injured pack members and shared kills, according to strict hierarchies. This cooperation made them one of the most successful predators of the Ice Age. Number 77 introduced us to the helicoprion, the buzzsaw shark that turned ancient oceans into industrial accident zones. This bizarre predator lived for nearly 40 million years, from the Permian through the Triassic periods, using one of the most unusual feeding mechanisms in evolutionary history. The distinctive spiral whorl of teeth that jutted from its lower jaw wasn't just for show. Recent studies suggest this biological buzzsaw rotated as the shark fed, creating a continuous cutting motion that could slice through schools of fish and soft-bodied prey with mechanical precision. The teeth were self-sharpening, meaning this cutting tool never became dull. What made helicoprion particularly dangerous was its size and hunting strategy. Growing up to 35 feet in length, it was built like a living torpedo, capable of sudden bursts of speed that caught prey completely off guard. Its streamlined body allowed it to approach victims silently before unleashing its rotating death wheel. The longevity of helicoprion as a species proves this bizarre adaptation was incredibly successful. For tens of millions of years, this buzz saw shark-dominated ancient seas, adapting to multiple mass extinction events that wiped out countless other marine predators. At number 76, we encounter the Joseph-Artigacia monesi, a rodent that would give elephants nightmares. This South American giant lived around 4 million years ago, proving that even herbivorous mammals could evolve into living weapons when circumstances demanded it. Weighing over 2,000 pounds and standing nearly 6 feet tall, Joseph-Artigacia possessed front teeth that could grow over 20 inches long. These weren't just oversized beaver teeth. They were defensive weapons capable of delivering a bite force approaching 4,000 pounds per square inch, enough to crush the skull of any predator. What made this giant rodent particularly dangerous was its social behavior. Like many modern rodents, Josephoartigacia likely lived in family groups, meaning encountering one meant facing multiple car-sized mammals armed with teeth like railroad spikes. Their powerful hind legs could deliver kicks that would shatter bones, while their massive incisors could slice through flesh and armor with equal ease. The fossil record suggests these giants were territorial and aggressive, willing to fight to the death to defend their territory and young. Even the largest predators of their time would have struggled against a determined group of these oversized rodents. Number 75 brings us to the entelodon, aptly nicknamed the hell pig, for its aggressive nature and terrifying appearance. These omnivorous mammals terrorized North American and Eurasian landscapes around 30 million years ago, combining the intelligence of modern pigs with the predatory instincts of bears. Standing over 7 feet tall at the shoulder and measuring nearly 12 feet in length, Entelodon possessed a massive skull armed with bone-crushing teeth and powerful jaw muscles. But unlike true carnivores, these creatures were opportunistic omnivores, willing to eat anything they could catch, kill, or scavenge. What made Entelodon truly dangerous was its unpredictable behavior. Modern pigs are surprisingly intelligent and can be extremely aggressive when threatened or competing for resources. Scale that up to the size of a small truck. Add bone-crushing jaws, and you have a recipe for prehistoric terror. Fossil evidence shows Entelodon engaged in brutal intraspecies combat, with skulls bearing deep gouges and healed fractures from battles with their own kind. If they were willing to fight each other with such violence, imagine what they would do to other species. At number 74, we find the Gorgonopsid, a mammal-like reptile that bridged the gap between reptiles and mammals while perfecting the art of killing. These therapsids lived around 250 million years ago, possessing saber teeth that rivaled those of much later mammals. What made Gorgonopsids particularly terrifying was their combination of reptilian stamina with proto-mammalian intelligence and aggression. Their saber teeth could grow nearly 5 inches long, and unlike later saber-toothed cats, these predators used their fangs in slashing attacks rather than precision strikes. The largest Gorgonopsids reached lengths of 12 feet and possessed powerful limbs that allowed them to pursue prey across varied terrain. Their hunting strategy was simple but effective. Run down prey using superior endurance, then deliver devastating slashing attacks with those curved sabers until the victim bled to death. These creatures lived during one of the most dangerous periods in Earth's history, competing with early archosaurs and other therapsids for dominance. Their success in this competitive environment proves they were among the most effective predators of their time. Number 73 introduces the Andrewsarchus mongoliensis, often called the largest terrestrial mammalian carnivore ever discovered. This massive predator stalked Asian forests around 37 million years ago, combining the hunting instincts of wolves with the size and power of bears. Recent estimates suggest Andrewsarchus could reach lengths of nearly 17 feet and weights exceeding 1 ton, making it larger than any modern land carnivore. Its skull alone measured over 3 feet in length, housing jaws powerful enough to crack open the largest bones to access nutrient-rich marrow inside. What made Andrewsarchus truly formidable was its versatility as a predator. Unlike specialized hunters that focus on specific prey types, this giant was an opportunistic killer that would attack anything it could overpower. Its powerful limbs allowed it to pursue prey across open terrain, while its massive jaws could crush through shells, bones, and armor with equal ease. The discovery of Andrewsarchus fossils alongside the remains of early whales suggests these land giants may have occasionally hunted along coastlines, adding marine mammals to their already diverse diet of terrestrial prey. At number 72, we encounter the Pliosaurus funke, also known as Predator X, a marine reptile that turned Jurassic oceans into hunting grounds for the ultimate aquatic killer. This massive pliosaur lived around 150 million years ago, possessing bite forces that exceeded those of Tyrannosaurus rex. Measuring over 40 feet in length and weighing nearly 50 tons, Pliosaurus funke was built like a living submarine designed for one purpose: destroying everything in its path. Its massive skull, measuring over 8 feet long, was packed with teeth the size of bananas, each one designed for gripping and crushing rather than slicing. What made Pliosaurus funke particularly dangerous was its incredible speed and agility despite its massive size. Unlike modern whales that rely on endurance swimming, this marine predator was a sprint hunter, capable of explosive bursts of speed that caught prey completely off guard. Bite mark analysis on marine reptile fossils reveals the devastating power of Pliosaurus attacks. Bones showing clean breaks and crush marks indicate this predator could bite through armor plating that would stop modern sharks cold. Number 71 brings us to the Epicyon, the largest canine that ever lived. This bone-crushing dog dominated North American landscapes around 10 million years ago, combining pack-hunting tactics with individual power that rivaled that of bears. Weighing over 300 pounds and standing nearly 4 feet tall at the shoulder, Epicyon possessed jaw muscles so developed they gave its skull a distinctive sagittal crest like that of gorillas. This bone-crushing power allowed it to access nutrients that other carnivores couldn't reach, giving it a significant advantage during times of scarcity. What made Epicyon particularly successful was its social structure. Like modern wolves, these giants hunted in packs, but their individual size meant each pack member was as powerful as a modern bear. Coordinated attacks from multiple Epicyon would have been unstoppable for most prey species. Fossil evidence suggests Epicyon was both a hunter and a scavenger, using its powerful jaws to drive other predators away from kills before crushing bones to access marrow. This flexibility in feeding behavior helped it survive for several million years before climate changes led to its extinction. At number 70, we discover the Purosaurus brasiliensis, a caiman that redefined what it meant to rule freshwater environments. This South American giant lived around 8 million years ago, growing to sizes that challenged marine crocodiles for the title of largest crocodilian ever, reaching lengths of nearly 43 feet and weighing over 18 tons. Purosaurus possessed a bite force estimated at over 20,000 pounds per square inch. This incredible crushing power allowed it to hunt prey that would be impossible for modern crocodilians to handle, including ground sloths the size of cars and early cetaceans. What made Purosaurus truly terrifying was its ambush hunting strategy scaled up to monstrous proportions. Like modern crocodilians, it could remain motionless for hours before exploding into action. But when something this size launched an attack, the results were catastrophic for anything within reach. The fossil record shows Purosaurus coexisted with other giant predators, including massive snakes and terror birds, suggesting South American ecosystems 8 million years ago were dominated by creatures that would dwarf modern apex predators. These ancient killing machines represent evolution's most ambitious experiments in predatory design. From buzzsaw sharks that turned feeding into mechanical precision to hell pigs that combined intelligence with unstoppable aggression, each creature pushed the boundaries of what was possible in their respective environments. But the deadliest inhabitants of prehistoric Earth are still ahead of us. And when we encounter them, you'll understand why their very existence changed the rules of survival forever. Number 69 takes us into the realm of prehistoric terror with the Allosaurus, a predator that turned late Jurassic landscapes into killing fields. This apex hunter stalked ancient plains around 150 million years ago, perfecting the art of pack hunting long before mammals mastered the technique. Measuring nearly 30 feet in length and weighing over 4 tons, Allosaurus possessed a skull designed for maximum damage, packed with 70 razor-sharp teeth that curved backward to prevent prey from escaping. But what made this predator truly deadly wasn't just its individual power. It was its intelligence and social behavior. Recent fossil discoveries suggest Allosaurus hunted in coordinated groups, using complex strategies to bring down sauropods that measured over 80 feet in length. Imagine facing not one, but multiple car-sized predators working together with the tactical precision of modern wolves, but armed with claws that could slice through armor plating. The bone beds of the Morrison Formation tell a story of systematic slaughter, with Allosaurus bite marks found on nearly every large herbivore species of its time. This wasn't opportunistic scavenging. This was calculated, methodical hunting by creatures that understood how to kill efficiently and effectively. At number 68, we encounter the Arctodus simus, known as the short-faced bear, a predator that made Ice Age North America a nightmare realm for any creature unlucky enough to cross its path. This massive carnivore stood over 6 feet tall at the shoulder and could rear up on its hind legs to tower nearly 12 feet above the ground. What separated Arctodus from modern bears wasn't just its incredible size, but its build for pursuit. Unlike the bulky, lumbering bears we know today, this Ice Age giant possessed long legs and a lean frame that allowed it to run down prey across open terrain. Its shortened face housed massive jaw muscles capable of delivering bone-crushing bites that could kill with a single strike. The fossil evidence reveals something chilling about Arctodus behavior. Unlike modern bears that are largely omnivorous, this giant was almost exclusively carnivorous, using its superior size and speed to dominate Ice Age ecosystems. Even dire wolves and saber-toothed cats would abandon their kills when this monster approached. Carbon isotope analysis of Arctodus bones shows a diet consisting almost entirely of meat, suggesting these giants were active hunters rather than scavengers. They didn't wait for opportunities, they created them. Number 67 brings us face to face with the Deinosuchus, also known as the terrible crocodile, an apex predator that ruled North American waterways during the late Cretaceous period. This monster grew to lengths exceeding 40 feet and possessed a bite force that could crush Tyrannosaurus rex skulls like eggshells. What made Deinosuchus particularly terrifying was its prey selection. This wasn't some fish-eating crocodile content with aquatic meals. Fossil evidence shows bite marks on dinosaur bones, proving this giant regularly hunted creatures that weighed several tons. Even massive hadrosaurs and ceratopsians weren't safe from its ambush attacks. The hunting strategy of Deinosuchus was devastatingly simple. It would lurk in rivers and coastal areas waiting for dinosaurs to come drink. When prey ventured within range, this living submarine would explode from the water with enough force to drag multi-ton victims beneath the surface in seconds. Recent skull reconstructions reveal Deinosuchus possessed the strongest bite force of any crocodilian that ever lived, with estimates reaching nearly 23,000 pounds per square inch. That's enough pressure to crush a small building concentrated in jaws that could snap shut faster than the human eye could follow. At number 66, we discover the Kelenken guillemois, a terror bird that redefined what it meant to be a flying nightmare. Standing nearly 10 feet tall and weighing over 300 pounds, this flightless predator dominated South American landscapes around 15 million years ago with a skull that measured over 2 feet in length. The massive hooked beak of Kelenken wasn't just for show. This weapon was perfectly designed for delivering devastating hammer blows that could shatter bones and crush skulls with surgical precision. Unlike modern birds of prey that rely on talons, terror birds use their heads as weapons, striking with enough force to kill large mammals instantly. What made Kelenken particularly dangerous was its incredible speed and agility. Despite its massive size, this predator could reach speeds of nearly 40 miles per hour, making escape virtually impossible for ground-dwelling prey. Its powerful legs could deliver kicks that would break ribs, while its beak finished the job with clinical efficiency. The fossil record shows Kelenken lived alongside other giant predators, including massive crocodilians and saber-toothed marsupials. Yet it held its own in this competitive environment through sheer aggression and superior hunting abilities. Number 65 takes us into the depths of ancient oceans with the Cretoxia mantelli, known as the Ginsu shark, for its ability to slice through anything in the water. This Cretaceous predator grew to lengths exceeding 20 feet and possessed teeth so sharp they could cut through bone like a chainsaw through wood. What separated Cretoxia from other prehistoric sharks was its role as an active hunter of marine reptiles. Fossil evidence shows this predator regularly attacked and killed plesiosaurs, mosasaurs, and even other sharks, using hit-and-run tactics that left victims bleeding to death in the water. The teeth of Cretoxia were engineering marvels, designed with serrated edges that could slice through the toughest hides and armor. Unlike modern great whites that rely on crushing bites, This ancient shark was a precision cutter, removing chunks of flesh with surgical accuracy. Bite mark analysis on marine reptile fossils reveals the devastating effectiveness of Cretoxorhina attacks. Clean cuts through vertebrae and ribs show this predator could disable prey with single bites, then return to feed at its leisure, while victims slowly died from blood loss. At number 64, we encounter the Sarcastodon mongoliensis, a mammalian carnivore that combined the size of bears with the hunting instincts of cats. This Asian predator lived around 34 million years ago, using massive bone-crushing jaws to dominate ecosystems that were transitioning from the age of reptiles to the age of mammals. Measuring nearly 10 feet in length and weighing over 1,000 pounds, Sarcastodon possessed a skull that measured over 2 feet long, packed with teeth designed for both cutting flesh and crushing bones. This versatility in feeding allowed it to exploit food sources that were unavailable to more specialized predators. What made Sarcastodon truly formidable was its intelligence combined with its predatory drive. As a mammal, it possessed the problem-solving abilities and adaptability that had allowed mammals to survive the extinction of the dinosaurs, but focused entirely on hunting and killing. The fossil record suggests Sarcastodon was both a hunter and a scavenger, using its superior size to drive other predators away from kills before using its powerful jaws to access every scrap of nutrition available. This efficient feeding behavior helped it dominate ancient Asian ecosystems for millions of years. Number 63 brings us to the Xiphactinus audax, also known as the bulldog fish, a marine predator that turned Cretaceous seas into war zones. Growing to lengths exceeding 20 feet, this giant bony fish possessed jaws that could unhinge like a snake's, allowing it to swallow prey nearly half its own size. What made Xiphactinus particularly deadly was its ambush hunting strategy. This predator would lurk in the depths before launching surprise attacks with explosive speed, opening its massive jaws to engulf victims before they could react. Its teeth were designed for gripping rather than cutting, ensuring that nothing escaped once caught. The most famous Xiphactinus fossil, nicknamed fish within a fish, shows one of these predators that died after swallowing a 6-foot-long fish whole. The prey was so large it ruptured internal organs, killing both hunter and victim in a prehistoric tragedy of predatory ambition. Recent studies of Xiphactinus jaw mechanics reveal these fish could generate suction forces powerful enough to pull prey directly into their mouths from several feet away. Combined with their incredible speed, this made them nearly unstoppable hunters in ancient seas. At number 62, we discover the Daeodon shoshonensis, another member of the hell pig family that terrorized North American landscapes around 20 million years ago. This omnivorous giant stood over 6 feet tall at the shoulder and possessed a skull that measured nearly 4 feet in length, armed with bone-crushing teeth and powered by massive jaw muscles. What made Daeodon particularly dangerous was its opportunistic feeding behavior, combined with its aggressive temperament. Unlike true carnivores that focused on hunting, these creatures would eat anything they could catch, kill, or steal from other predators. Their massive size and powerful jaws made them capable of driving even large cats away from fresh kills. The skull of Daeodon shows evidence of tremendous bite forces, with estimates suggesting these creatures could exert pressures exceeding 4,000 pounds per square inch. This bone-crushing power allowed them to access nutrients that other scavengers couldn't reach, giving them a significant advantage during competitive feeding scenarios. Fossil evidence suggests Daeodon lived in social groups, meaning encountering one meant facing multiple truck-sized omnivores with the temperament of modern wild boars and the crushing power of hydraulic presses. Number 61 takes us back to the oceans with the Basilosaurus cetoides, an early whale that looked more like a sea serpent than a modern cetacean. This ancient marine mammal reached lengths of nearly 70 feet, making it one of the largest predators ever to inhabit Earth's oceans. Unlike modern whales that filter feed or hunt squid, Basilosaurus was an apex predator that hunted other whales. Its elongated skull was packed with sharp, pointed teeth, designed for gripping and tearing rather than filtering. Fossil evidence shows bite marks on smaller whale species, proving this giant regularly engaged in whale-on-whale predation. What made Basilosaurus particularly terrifying was its intelligence combined with its predatory instincts. As an early whale, it possessed the cognitive abilities that would later evolve into the complex intelligence of modern cetaceans, but focused entirely on hunting and killing rather than the more peaceful behaviors we associate with whales today. The serpentine body plan of Basilosaurus allowed it to move through ancient oceans with incredible grace and speed, pursuing prey with the persistence of modern killer whales, but scaled up to monstrous proportions that dwarfed anything in today's seas. At number 60, we encounter the Borophagous diversitans, known as the bone-crushing dog, a canid that evolved jaws powerful enough to crack open the largest bones to access nutrient-rich marrow inside. This North American predator lived around 5 million years ago, representing the peak of canine bone-crushing evolution. What separated Borophagous from modern dogs wasn't just its incredible bite force, but its feeding strategy. While modern canids primarily eat meat and organs, these ancient hunters specialized in accessing resources that other carnivores couldn't reach. Their hyena-like jaws could crush bones that would shatter the teeth of contemporary predators. The social structure of Borophagous likely resembled that of modern hyenas more than wolves, with individuals competing intensely for access to carcasses. Their bone-crushing abilities allowed them to extract every possible calorie from kills, making them incredibly efficient in resource-poor environments. Fossil evidence suggests Borophagous was both a hunter and a scavenger, using its superior jaw strength to drive other carnivores away from kills before systematically destroying every bone to access the marrow inside. This thorough feeding behavior helped them survive in competitive Ice Age ecosystems. Number 59 brings us to the Leviathan melvillei, a sperm whale that possessed the largest functional teeth of the animal in Earth's history. Each tooth measured over 14 inches in length, and unlike modern sperm whales that primarily hunt squid, this ancient giant was built to hunt other whales. Living around 12 million years ago, Leviathan melvillei measured nearly 60 feet in length and weighed over 50 tons, making it comparable in size to modern sperm whales, but with completely different feeding behavior. This was a predator that looked at other whales and saw food rather than family. What made Leviathan melvillei particularly deadly was its hunting strategy. Rather than the deep diving behavior of modern sperm whales, this ancient giant was a surface hunter that used ramming attacks to stun prey before delivering devastating bites with those massive teeth. Each bite could remove chunks of flesh weighing hundreds of pounds. The discovery of Leviathan melvillei fossils alongside megalodon teeth suggests these two oceanic titans may have directly competed for prey, leading to underwater battles between the largest predators ever to inhabit Earth's oceans. At number 58, we find the Amphision ingens, known as the bear dog, a predator that combined the size and strength of bears with the pack-hunting instincts of dogs. This massive carnivore dominated North American and Eurasian landscapes around 15 million years ago, growing to sizes that rivaled modern bears. What made Amphision particularly formidable was its versatility as both a solitary and pack hunter. Fossil evidence suggests these creatures could work alone when pursuing smaller prey, but coordinated their efforts when attacking larger victims. This flexibility in hunting behavior made them incredibly successful predators. The skull structure of Amphision reveals adaptations for both bone-crushing and flesh-cutting, allowing these predators to efficiently process any type of prey they encountered. Their powerful limbs were built for both speed and strength, making them capable of both pursuit hunting and ambush attacks. The success of Amphision as a species is evidenced by their widespread distribution and long evolutionary history. These bear dogs dominated multiple continents for millions of years, proving that their hybrid approach to predation was incredibly effective. Number 57 takes us into the realm of marine giants with the Leadsichthys problematicus, a fish that reached lengths comparable to modern blue whales. This Jurassic giant swam through ancient oceans around 160 million years ago, filter feeding on plankton and small fish, while growing to truly monstrous sizes. While technically not a predator in the traditional sense, Leadsichthys was dangerous simply due to its incredible size. Anything that got in the way of this swimming mountain would be crushed or swallowed, and its powerful tail could deliver devastating blows to potential threats attempting to attack it. What made Leadsichthys remarkable was its longevity as a species and its impact on ancient marine ecosystems. These giants dominated Jurassic seas for millions of years, proving that sometimes the most successful evolutionary strategy is simply growing too large for anything else to threaten. The filter-feeding behavior of Leadsichthys was similar to that of modern baleen whales, but scaled up to proportions that strained the limits of what was physically possible for bony fish. Their success paved the way for the later evolution of giant marine mammals. These prehistoric titans represent evolution's boldest experiments in predatory design and ecological dominance. From bear dogs that combined the best traits of multiple carnivore families, to whale-sized fish that redefined marine gigantism, each creature pushed the boundaries of what was possible in their respective environments. The monsters we've encountered so far have shown us glimpses of a world where size, strength, and predatory innovation reached heights that seem impossible by today's standards. But the most dangerous creatures in Earth's history are still waiting ahead, and when we meet them, you'll discover why their very existence represents the pinnacle of evolutionary lethality. Number 56 introduces us to the Carnotaurus sastri, a horned nightmare that redefined what it meant to be a pursuit predator. This South American terror stalked late Cretaceous landscapes around 70 million years ago, combining demonic appearance with devastating hunting abilities that made escape virtually impossible. Standing nearly 12 feet tall and measuring over 25 feet in length, Carnotaurus possessed two prominent horns above its eyes that gave it a distinctly diabolical appearance. But these weren't just for intimidation. These bony projections were weapons, used to ram prey at high speeds with enough force to shatter ribs and crush internal organs. What made Carnotaurus truly terrifying was its build for speed. Unlike other large theropods that relied on ambush tactics, this predator was designed for sustained pursuit across open terrain. Its incredibly long, powerful legs could propel it at speeds approaching 35 miles per hour, making it faster than any herbivore of its time. The arms of Carnotaurus were so reduced they made Tyrannosaurus rex look well-armed by comparison. But this wasn't a weakness. Every ounce of muscle that might have gone to arm development was instead devoted to leg power and jaw strength, creating a biological missile focused solely on running down and killing prey. At number 55, we encounter the Helicoprion besinoe, the original buzzsaw of the ancient seas. This bizarre predator terrorized Permian oceans for nearly 40 million years, using one of the most unusual feeding mechanisms in evolutionary history to slice through marine life with mechanical precision. The spiral whirl of teeth that extended from its lower jaw wasn't just a grotesque ornament. This biological cutting tool rotated as the shark fed, creating continuous slicing action that could process soft-bodied prey with assembly line efficiency. Each tooth was perfectly positioned to maintain the cutting edge as older teeth wore away. What made Helicoprion particularly successful was its adaptability. As ocean conditions changed and prey species evolved, this predator's unique feeding mechanism allowed it to exploit food sources that were unavailable to conventional sharks. Its buzzsaw design was so effective, it survived multiple mass extinction events. The longevity of Helicoprion proves that sometimes evolution's most bizarre experiments become its greatest successes. For tens of millions of years, this living chainsaw dominated ancient seas, proving that unconventional solutions can be devastatingly effective. Number 54 brings us to the Josephartogasia monesi, a rodent that would make modern elephants seem small and harmless. This South American giant lived around 4 million years ago, growing to weights that exceeded 2,000 pounds, while maintaining the aggressive temperament that makes modern rodents so successful. Those massive front teeth weren't just oversized versions of beaver incisors. They were defensive weapons capable of delivering bite forces that approached 4,000 pounds per square inch. A single bite from those railroad spiked teeth could crush the skull of any predator brave enough or foolish enough to attack. What made Joseph Artigasia particularly dangerous was its social behavior combined with its territorial nature. Like many rodents, these giants likely lived in family groups, meaning any threat would face multiple car-sized mammals armed with teeth like medieval lances and the aggressive instincts of cornered rats. The powerful hind legs of Joseph Artigasia could deliver kicks with enough force to shatter bones, while their razor-sharp claws could slice through hide and muscle with surgical precision. Even the largest predators of their time would have thought twice before attacking a group of these supersized rodents. At number 53, we discovered the Entelodon magnus, the ultimate hell pig that turned North American forests into slaughterhouses around 30 million years ago. This omnivorous nightmare combined the intelligence of modern pigs with the size and aggression of bears, creating a predator that feared nothing and hunted everything, standing over 7 feet tall at the shoulder and measuring nearly 15 feet in length. An Entelodon possessed a skull that measured over 3 feet long, armed with bone-crushing teeth and powered by jaw muscles so massive they created distinctive ridges along the skull. These weren't just feeding tools, they were weapons of war. What made Entelodon truly terrifying was its unpredictable nature. Modern pigs are among the most intelligent mammals on Earth, capable of complex problem-solving and long-term planning. Scale that intelligence up to the size of a small truck, add bone-crushing jaws, and you have a recipe for prehistoric terror. The fossil record shows evidence of brutal combat between Entelodon individuals, with skulls bearing deep gouges and healed fractures from battles with their own kind. If they would fight each other with such violence, imagine what they would do to other species that entered their territory. Number 52 takes us into the realm of aerial death, with the Argentavis magnificens, a bird of prey so massive it could snatch up victims the size of small horses. With a wingspan reaching nearly 24 feet, this South American giant dominated ancient skies around 6 million years ago like a feathered apocalypse. Unlike modern condors that primarily scavenge, Argentavis was an active predator with talons the size of medieval daggers. Its incredible eyesight allowed it to spot movement from distances that would challenge modern satellites, while its powerful wings could carry it aloft for hours without a single flap. What made Argentavis particularly deadly was its hunting strategy. This aerial giant would soar high above ancient plains, using thermal currents to patrol vast territories while searching for prey. Once a target was located, it would fold its wings and dive like a guided missile, striking with enough force to kill instantly. The massive talons of Argentavis were designed for gripping and crushing rather than slicing, meaning prey would be held in an inescapable grip while being carried to feeding sites. The psychological terror of being snatched from the ground by something this massive must have been overwhelming for ground-dwelling mammals. At number 51, we encounter the Basilosaurus cetoides, an early whale that looked more like a prehistoric sea monster than anything related to modern cetaceans. This serpentine marine mammal reached lengths of nearly 70 feet, making it one of the largest predators ever to inhabit Earth's oceans. The elongated body plan of Basilosaurus allowed it to move through ancient seas with undulating motions that resembled those of sea serpents from maritime legends. Its skull was packed with sharp, pointed teeth designed for gripping and tearing, rather than the filter-feeding apparatus of modern whales. What made Basilosaurus particularly terrifying was its prey selection. Unlike modern whales that feed on fish or krill, this ancient giant hunted other whales. Fossil evidence shows bite marks on smaller whale species, proving this apex predator regularly engaged in whale-on-whale combat with devastating results. The intelligence of modern whales combined with the predatory drive of ancient marine reptiles made Basilosaurus a perfect oceanic killing machine. Its serpentine movements through the water would have been hypnotic and terrifying, like watching a living legend emerge from the depths to hunt. And there you have it. 100 of the most lethal, most terrifying, most absolutely unstoppable predators that ever walked, swam, or soared across our planet. From buzzsaw sharks that turned feeding into mechanical precision to hell pigs that combined intelligence with bone-crushing power, these ancient monsters remind us that Earth's history is written in blood and bone. Their extinction wasn't just the end of individual species. It was the closing of the most dangerous chapter in our planet's story, and perhaps the only reason